Okay, so what if we wanted a tempo change in between these two clips? So first thing I'm going to do, just because it's driving me nuts, is I'm going to turn this harmony way down because I need to finesse that quite a bit more for it to really work. So how can we change tempo? So I launch scene 2 and we're at a tempo, and then I launch scene 3 and I want us to be at a new tempo. How can I do that without a timeline? It's actually pretty slick the way it's written in here. So what we're going to do is we're going to change the name of our scene. Let's change the name of all 3 scenes. So I click on it, Command R, just like everything else. Let's call this intro. Let's call our next scene Vox 1, and our next one Vox 2. Okay, now there's some magic that happens in the name of the scene. So I'm going to say Vox 1 space, and then any number followed by a BPM, Ableton is going to interpret that as a tempo change. So all I have to do is say, so I'm at 128 now. So let's go slower. Let's go 90 BPM. Okay, I just type the words 90 BPM. As soon as I hit return, this playhead turns orange, right? We know the little orange boxes, or little red-orange boxes, mean automation is in that. So this is a whole different kind of automation, but it's still functionally the same. Okay, so let's launch intro. Okay, there's my kick and my clap. Now let's launch Vox 1, and we're going to slow down to 90. Oh no, I did this backwards, so let's undo it. Remember, I wanted to do the second one. So I get rid of that. It turned off the automation. Vox 2 is what I want to be 90 BPM. Hit return, and now it's in there. So we launch Vox 1. Okay, everything's cool. Let's do one more time. And now into Vox 2. I like that beat at that tempo a lot better. It's got a fun groove. Okay, so what just happened was when we went from Vox 1 to Vox 2, it saw this and it changed our tempo right when that clip launched to 90 BPM. So we stayed totally tight. Now, we've got a little bit of a problem now, because now I want to go, so I'm here, I'm on Vox 2. I want to go back to Vox 1. What's going to happen? My tempo didn't change back, right? That is a problem. So what I need to do here is I need to rename this 128 BPM so that it knows to kick that back up to 128 BPM. And just as a general rule of thumb, in my experience, what you should do is if you're going to write tempo into the names of your scenes like this, you should try to get in the habit of doing it for all of them. Even this intro, because remember, they don't go backwards. So if I start on intro and then go into Vox 1, and then Vox 2 has a tempo change, but Vox 1 doesn't, if I decide to jump back, which even if I don't normally jump back, for a rehearsal, maybe I will once or twice, and then my tempo is going to be all screwed up. Or maybe I'm just feeling it differently one night and I decide to jump back, but then everything falls apart because my tempo is wrong. So if you're going to be doing this, changing tempo stuff, get in the habit of doing it everywhere. That's what I like to do. So now, every time I start this clip, it's going to jump to 128 BPM no matter what I do. And now if I just decide to go straight into the second vocal track, it's automatically going to go to 90 BPM. But then if I go back to the first vocal track, we're going to be back up at 128. So every scene knows what its proper tempo is now. Okay, so that is changing tempo using just kind of magic words in the name of the scene. Doesn't work in clips. It's got to be on the scene. And all it needs is a number followed by the letters BPM without a space. So you just type in, 40 BPM, and you're going to be going incredibly slow. BPM stands for beats per minute, if I didn't say that earlier. And that is the same division that this number is, 120 BPM. And let's just do one quick thing while we're here. Keep your eye on this number up here, this 128. When I launch this scene, boom, it switches right over to 90. When I launch the next scene, boom, right? So it's changing the whole session tempo right there.